welcome to episode 21 of Three Ways to Say It podcast. I'm Casey.
And I am the one and only Todd Carter.
I am Ashley.
Okay, so this week, well, you know what? You can low-key kind of call this episode kind of appreciation episode, appreciation week. Today we're just gonna be talking about who do we appreciate each other enough, stuff like that. So I'm gonna start it out, just get right into it. Let's start out with a question. Do you think that men appreciate women, or do you feel like they appreciate them enough?
I'm gonna say that you should answer that question first because I want to know.
Well, I can only speak for myself. I guess I can't speak for all the men. Well, let me say I am in the category of good men, so I can only speak for the good men. I do think there is a select amount of men that appreciate women. Now, when I say appreciate, I feel like the part that is skipped out of, I don't think most men understand what women go through. So I feel like you can only appreciate a woman when you understand the stuff that she goes through, because it's completely different from what you go through as a man. So I feel like the men that do appreciate women at least try to understand that. So I'm gonna just say we appreciate women, but I do feel like it's some stuff that we don't understand about women. And I feel like we should literally sit down and try to learn that stuff before we can fully appreciate women. But I'm gonna just start there.
Okay, so I do think men appreciate women, at least the men around me anyway. I think that they appreciate, for one, the fact that they can bear children, because we wouldn't be here, would we, without women? Right. Also, just that nurturing part. They have to nurture the children, take care of them, take care of them. The emotional side of women, we get a lot of slack about that, but I think it definitely can be appreciated because it helps you connect with people. I feel like you can connect with people through emotions. So, yeah, I'm gonna say that those top three things for men appreciating women, at least I think anyway.
Okay, that's nice.
So I think that it can go both ways. So the men in my life definitely appreciate me because I am so well loved. So, and as you were talking, I was thinking of, just my dad, my brother, my ex-husband, the people that I know appreciate me and, who I am, my closest friends that are males. So yes, but I do think that there are some guys out there that have wives, girlfriends, that they don't appreciate, like what that woman brings into their life, the calmness, just the day-to-day things that she may do, if it is nothing but just making sure that he has lunch packed for work. So I just think that's just one of those things where it's both ways. You got some men that do and some men that don't. It just depends on that person and what they value and how they want to show up in the world.
Okay. So do we think, it's good that we do see some men appreciate women, but for the ones that don't, because I feel like that's who should really be addressed in this anyway. Do you feel like it's the lack of understanding, or is they just don't think women, I guess, need to be appreciated? So do you feel like it's because men don't actually sit down and understand what women go through, or is it just the fact that they just feel like women just don't need to be appreciated as much?
I just think go ahead, Ashley.
You can go.
I just think it just depends on one-off situations. It just depends on that person. I think for the most part, when I'm just kind of thinking about some of my friends that are males, and in terms of how they interact with me, I would say for the most part, yes, they appreciate women. They really do. But then I know of some things that they just don't. So I'm just going to say yes. Yes. Yeah.
I think it's times where, of course, like some men, depending on what the situation is, don't appreciate women And I think it's times where what did you say? Like, is it just
Is it more of that they don't understand what women go through? Is it that they just feel like women don't need to be appreciated?
because I can say understanding. Let's just say an example with what having a baby. A
Mm-hmm.
man doesn't know what it feels like to have a baby, or just the after you have a baby, that whole part of it. So I think that understanding part, yeah, I yeah, yeah. I don't know where I'm going with that, but yeah.
um, and I guess the reason I asked that because I feel like not even trying to be like the devil advocate, but I do feel like for the good ones that just don't show women enough appreciation, I feel like they just don't sit down and at least just pay attention to what women go. I feel like because women are so conditioned to just take on so much, do so much, and it's like, okay, it's their role, quote unquote, right? So I feel
Mhm.
like just because men see them doing it, they feel like, well, you're doing what you're supposed to do in a way. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like
Mhm.
just the same for like women, which we're gonna get into. Well, if they see a man doing these manly duties, it's kind of like I probably appreciate if you do something outside of it or do extra with it. Like you doing your regular stuff is not something I just need to appreciate, because that's what you're supposed to do. So I think on the end of like they don't understand, I feel like men don't take that time to kind of sit down and be like, okay, you're a woman, I'm a man. What are you going through that I don't? I think it's just simple stuff. We joke about all the time. It could be certain stuff, y'all go through y'all monthly things, stuff like that. And there's a lot of men that don't sit down and try to understand it. And of course, like we're lucky enough not to have to go through that stuff. But they don't sit down and kind of put out the consideration like, well, I don't have to go through this. So maybe I should kind of be more considerate of this. Or maybe I should not try to be more caring in this way. Or maybe I should think of women are stronger than I'm thinking. So I think for the men that at least try, I do think it's a lot of confusion of not understanding what women
Mhm.
go through, or the lack of not trying to. But yeah,
I think okay, so when it goes back to the baby part, I think that's when it's the nature part of it. I think once a woman has a baby, of course she goes through all the emotions, even after having the baby, right? So the
mm-hmm,
man probably look at it like, okay, you had the baby, now he gets to go back to work, right? And she's at
mm-hmm,
home 6 weeks with a crying baby, and emotions are everywhere. And he comes back, he probably could be like, "Oh, you just been with the baby all day. I've been working," not seeing that is a job in itself. So it could be a lack of understanding just in that situation, just that specific situation. No, I'm not
yeah,
saying all men are like that, but
mm-hmm,
just from what we see sometimes, so I think when it comes to certain things, just from that, it's probably
yeah,
not the understanding part of it.
yeah,
Well, let me just say, since I've experienced that, is that my experience with pregnancy and with delivering a baby was exceptional. I mean, he was there the entire time, to the doctor's appointments, um, to, you know, just there the whole time. So I would say I had a very good experience. And even after I had the baby and I came home and things like that, we both woke up with the baby in the middle of the night. So I think he understood, what all I went through in terms of the pregnancy and things like that. And just, in the beginning, being a first time mom. So he did take off a couple of days to, get acquainted with the baby. And he did that every time I delivered. So my experience was very well. And I think he appreciated me in that moment and supported me in those moments. So it was a good experience for me.
okay,
I feel
and
like, they can't do it. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah.
know those labor pains. They don't have, all the things that women go through when you're expecting, like the morning sickness and just tired, feeling fatigued. So yeah, we did all of that. He went through all of that with me. And I think sometimes men have that, how the wife get pregnant and the man have all the symptoms and
Mm-hmm.
in the weight and things like that. He didn't do any of that, but sometimes they take on some of the ways when their wife be pregnant.
Yeah. And not to even go to the negative side, but the way since we are talking about like the pregnancy and I it's so hard. I hate the view of it sometimes, and I think that's just everybody don't view it the same. For me, I always think the woman goes through more, and I kind of hate to see it on the same level. Like yeah, y'all are having this baby together, and both of y'all lives are changing. But I do feel like there needs to be more consideration for the woman in a sense of like this man necessarily don't have to carry the baby.
Mm-mm.
For example, I'm gonna just give an example. Just say, and I've seen it a couple of times. Just say two people they're in college, and they can have a baby. Most that dude can literally keep going to college. He can kind of keep going, get a degree. I don't think he gonna lose any much. Like he gonna be able to still keep up with the work. That woman though is gonna have all the changes where she probably can't go to as many classes. She finna have to miss classes. She's finna have to be on bed rest some days where she's not gonna be feeling like it. And that's why I say I kind of hate to see it where people put it on the same level as if I understand we make it together, but it's kind of like that consideration for the woman. Really, this woman is finna really take through these changes for real. Because it's from the body, the mind, and everything. Yeah. So I did want to say that because I hate to see people put it like right here, saying y'all doing it together. And I hate to see that. And I know a lot of, well, I want to say, boy parents like to make it seem like that boy is going through, oh, and my son, dude, he's going through, but you don't even understand. Like, for you to have a child, you should understand how much stuff that girl going through.
Right.
She's the one who needs all that sympathy and stuff. So I kind of hate to see it on that same playing field. But what we talking about pregnancy, I had to say that, but yeah.
Yeah, and then I also think too that children naturally go to their mom about everything, even if the mom and dad are together in the same household. If you're sick, you're running to mom. If you need something, you're running to mom. And that's majority of the time, at least from people that I know and myself. Like mom takes care of the house. Like she misses work to take you to the doctor appointment. Not saying that dad can't do it, but dad just he's the provider, so he just goes to work. So I think, like you were saying, that she tends to go through most of the changes because she's carrying it. It's not saying that, men aren't taking care of their children or not doing anything, but I just think that women do most of the work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I really hate it and I looked at it like that. And that's why I feel like that's one thing that I guess men don't take the time to sit down and think about. Yeah, we having a child together, we doing all this, but you are a mother. You know how much comes from a mother. I don't think they think about it like that's what I mean, how much comes from a woman. It's just some stuff that, like you say, for the men that don't sit down and try to be considerate enough to understand it, it's just so much into being, and that's just like that's like 10% of being a woman, right? Like that's just 10% of it. So just think about if they not understanding that 10%, if you got get sympathy for that, think about the other 90% that men don't kind of sit down and take consideration for a woman. But like you say, some appreciate it, some don't. But yeah. So like while we're right here, let me just go and get into the next thing. So since we did ask why do men appreciate women, do we feel like women appreciate men?
Do you think they do?
Think so.
You let me answer first last time.
Okay, well, I'll go. I think that women do appreciate men a lot. Like, who's gonna go out and work? I'm just like, but I think that's one part of it. Just having someone around, just those small things to change the light bulb, to go wash the car, to put gas in the car. And we know this just not everything a man can do, but those small things. And also just going back to the emotion part of it, I think men tend to be a little more logical. So I can appreciate them being a little more logical because sometimes we do get caught up in our emotions and not seeing a bigger picture of something. That man can come in and be like, hey, did you see it like this? Like, hey, maybe you should calm down, like, so I definitely can say there's at least one thing or a few things that I appreciate about the man, but number one is being very logical.
Okay. I'll go next. So for me, I think let me say the positive first, like always. I think for the most part, women do appreciate men because when women see men as like those providers and like you say, take
Mhm.
care of the manly duties. They look to men for that. The presence of a man, is wanted, is needed. They want somebody to be able to take care of this stuff. They want them to be able to be there for them when they need that stuff. Want somebody to look to.
Mhm.
So I think in that sense, just the presence I think of a man is appreciated in women, but a lot of women, except the ones that just hate them. And I'm sorry for
Mhm.
those. But let me go on the end of I feel like the parts that I guess don't get appreciated. So, and I'm only 26, so of course I'm a man in this world, but I haven't seen the whole world. But for me, I think the stuff that I kind of think women don't understand is some like how we talked about in the masculine episode, like in the masculinity episode, stuff like that. I think, and this is not all women, a lot of women do put a lot of pressure on men only because they feel like men are so strong that they don't bend and fold. And I
Mhm.
think they feel like they're so strong they can take it all, and that it's kind of like you could throw because men we're supposed to be conditioned to do this, right? We're supposed to be able to take all this, not have it like you say, like they quote unquote see us as emotionalist for most of the part.
Mhm.
So I feel like that part, the pressure of it, I don't think some women see it, that a lot of men have a lot of pressure on them in this world, just in the world, period. And they kind of don't. I feel like some women don't see that. But I'm gonna just touch on that, and it is another part I'm gonna touch on, but I'm gonna just say that for that part. I'm gonna just open it up for any rebuttals. Yeah.
I definitely think men are appreciated. I think it just goes back to the individual that you're dealing with, but for the most part, yes, because we know that men brings not that women don't bring stability, because you have a lot of females out here who are running their own households, but it's nothing like to have a man in your household and then you're not having to handle all of the things yourself. You are able to just have that moment where you breathe because there's a man in the house. So if you hear, for instance, knock at the door in the middle of the night, I mean, you automatically know, okay, he's going to get it. I do not have to go to the door as a female late at night because there's a man in my household. So I think
Mhm.
that men brings in the security of, what it is that some women feel that they need. And so I think for that, we appreciate just the whole man thing. So yeah, I appreciate men. I feel as a woman, we definitely, need that male. I always say if you want to see a woman really confident and succeeded in life, a lot of times when they have husbands or like a significant other, they tend to thrive more just because they are being loved in such a way that it spills over into other things that they do. So they kind of bring to me, I think, the woman is already 100% just as she is, fabulous in her own right. But I just think that backing from a man just makes her excel. And so, yeah. So yes, we do appreciate what men bring. And I won't even say the table. I'm kind of starting to hate when they're saying who bring what to the table. It's just what he bring, how he's able to get with a person and share things in life is what I want to say.
Okay. Um, and what I was going, and I said, I just wanted to clarify what I meant by depression. So I'm just kind of giving an example of it. I think, and it's funny you did say the security thing. So in life, that like things like that. I think outside of like the regular manly duties, it's like those extra things. So just say we're in the state of the world it is now. I think we're expected to like if we're in public with a woman, we're
Mhm.
expected to no matter what type of crossfire or anything, we're expected to like jump for it. And like that's no matter what's coming because you are supposed to be like the protectors, right? And because of how dangerous and crazy this world is, that comes with so many like it's like a mental challenge, right? Like you can either look like a punk or you can do it no matter what happened to you. And I think and it kind of go back to the masculinity thing too. So I think on that end, I don't know. I know a lot of maybe some women understand this. I know some don't. And it's funny because Mona Love was I just saw a video of her. It's crazy. Like right for this episode, where she was talking about how, you know, like when a girl get into it with a dude or whatever, and the first thing she do is who call her brothers or the men around her, and not really thinking of what the next result can be. And like say if you put yourself in the shoes of that brother or whoever, male, whatever, you thinking like, I gotta do it because as the man I'm supposed to be like this. I gotta be the protector. I gotta go do it. Not even think about what can happen next. So I think when I say pressure, that's the type of pressure I'm talking about. Like that's kind of scary, but you kind of, it's like a mental challenge. Like I don't think people think about how like you either look like a punk to them or go do something crazy that can hurt you. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't think a lot of people understand it, but I did want to put that there when I meant the pressure of it. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too, because I think that's the part of appreciating men too, is understanding that you can somehow unintentionally put men in situations like that, especially like if you're out at the club or somewhere. And can I say I had situations that happen like that? It could have, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
where of course we know guys come up on you and they know you there with your significant other, and of course that'll make him mad, but hey, I'll try to diffuse that situation as much as I can. I would never try to get him involved in something that I know or may not know the outcome of. So we're just gonna leave. Like it's none of that. I'll never intentionally put them
Yeah,
in that
but
type of situation. So
yeah.
mhm.
And that's
Right.
like yeah, that's like
I,
one of those. Oh,
go ahead.
go ahead, use it. Go
I
ahead.
was thinking when Ashley was talking about an incident that actually happened with me, and it wasn't with a man that I was dating. It was with one of my cousins. And so we were out, we were young in our 20s, and we were out at a club. And so I was walking through the club and I had just got there. So I was not ready to leave, just to say. And so I'm having fun. And then all of a sudden I saw my cousin. He was kind of like, making his way through the crowd, just trying to, get in the club because he had just got in there as well. And so it was a guy that knew me. He came over and he just kind of like, kind of like grabbed me, but he knew me. And so my cousin, I can see my cousin coming in the crowd, and then I can see his face. And y'all, my this was my cousin that would set it off in there. I mean, like, and I had to immediately diffuse that because I had to let him know, hey, it's okay. I'm not being attacked. I'm not being harmed. I know him. And, because other than that, we were about to get kicked out the club. So yes,
Mm.
Men are such protectors, and it doesn't even matter if you're dating them. You can get a person into a situation because that easily could have went wrong if I had
Mm-hmm.
saw my cousin coming, because he was not finna have no conversation with that guy. I mean, he's just finna turn up.
Mm-hmm.
How he
Yeah.
was. So yeah.
And that's what I go ahead. But that's what I mean when I say like it's kind of like how can you tell a man that's not his job though, right? Like you can't. It's hard. I think it's like I say, it's a mental thing for the man. Like you don't want to be looked at as like you don't protect your family, like you don't look after the women in your life. But then it's kind of like then you don't want to put yourself in a. And I don't know, are we put on here to be like this sacrifice or to be in the way of this stuff? Like, is that what we are meant to be? Because if we are protectors, just like a security guard, if he is protecting the club, whatever happened to him is like he was doing his job, right? Like we can't say well he was in the wrong place. You know what I'm saying? We just saying he was protecting the club. That's what he's supposed to be doing. What happened. Ugh. I don't know. I don't know.
I think that men, are just protectors anyway, just like they're providers as well. So I think it's not something where we expecting for them to come and save us out of a situation. For one thing, this particular cousin was raised very well, 2-parent home. So he knew he was just he just loved his family for one. And so I think it all kind of comes around, how you are brought up and just some things that you stood for. Because I can think of another incident with this same cousin. I was putting air in my tire one day, and way on the other side of town from where he lived, where I live. And I remember I was bent over putting air in my tire, and he just came out of nowhere And I'm like, he startled me because I'm trying to put air. And he was like, let me get it for you. So, a lot of things, it's just like they just know, they're just, trying to do, or they just have it in their nature to just want to provide, help, assist women, and I love that when men walk in their masculinity in that way, not saying that, you got to be so masculine, to do those things. But to me, that's just showing, I'm a man, and as long as I'm around, you don't have to do these things. And because he pulled up to get his gas, he's like, okay, no, I don't want her to be doing this. I'll do it for her. So yeah. Provide.
Okay. Before, but I don't want to go no deep into this, because if I do, I'm gonna keep going. But just to kind of, I did want to, before I ask, I'm going into another direction. So before I get to that, I did want to ask from both sides. So as women, what is one thing that you want a man to understand that you guys go through, or that you feel like men don't get? Like, because it's always gonna be something we don't understand because we're too different. We're just different. So what is one thing that you feel like a man should know that a woman goes through, or something about a woman that he should know? Maybe that'll help him appreciate her more.
Good question. I'm trying to think of something like I just told a guy, like, no, you don't understand. Because I think guys at least starting to get the whole menstrual cycle thing, at least the basics.
Yeah. If they care, yeah.
The only thing I can just keep thinking about is just the emotion part of it. I just think we're naturally emotional. It's times where we'll cry. It's times where we're putting a lot of emotion into something so small, but I just feel like that is us because we care so much about something. So I think just understanding that part, that's just naturally
Okay.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
I would say, I think that you have to understand that most women, if you're having some type of conflict with a guy, is that we need to kind of like talk it out. Where women want to express, we want you to understand stuff. We want to make sure that you understand things. Whereas guys, they don't want to do that. They're just kind of like, okay, it happened. But we want to explain why it happened. And I think they got to learn that we're just different on how we look at things. And so I would just say, I want them to listen more and, understand what we're trying to express to them. That's what I would.
Okay. And I guess I got to ask the next question to myself, but I'm just asking. So I guess I would ask myself, what do I feel like women should understand to, I guess, appreciate men more if they don't? And it kind of is the same thing of what I already talked about. So I kind of want women to understand that men, yeah, we men, but we bend and fold. I feel like we bend and fold. They feel like we don't. Oh, let me not say bend. Let me say we are not like this super tough thing where nothing gets to us, right? So I feel like we are known as emotionless or whatever, but I feel like stuff gets to us. So I think it's easier for a man to front that though. Like it's easier for a man to not show their emotions, and I know women are gonna show them emotions. Once y'all ready, y'all finna go with it. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. I know it's easy for men to kind of put that cool face on, like I don't care for real. But I just do want them to understand that the stuff that the women are saying to me and Tristan is getting to him. And I think, like for example, I see a lot of times when they're in relationships, I think women feel like they can say whatever this stuff that's just because they know this man, they feel like this man ain't gonna feel none of this stuff. They trying to say whatever to get to him and hurt him. Trust me, it's getting to him. He just got a better way of just cooling it off and make it so, but trust me, it's gonna hit him, hurt him later. So I feel like in that end, I feel like that's where they gotta understand each other. Like, let neither one of us say these things that's like below the belt, trying to tap into these different emotions, make this person mad. Men feel stuff too. And I don't think we're gonna always be this super like macho man. So like that's our job, right? But we get off work every day, right? So sometimes we gotta take it off. We gotta take them boots off and we gotta sit down and we kind of ain't gonna be that super duper masculine, want to jump at everything all the time. It's possible. That's all. That's all I want to understand. That's it.
I don't think, a lot of women just don't feel that men, be concerned with stuff or things get to them. And I know I'm guilty of that myself. It's just like, I kind of think that like they don't, I be thinking that they don't get bothered by things that we do, but they do. I have cousins, I have a brother, and I know they have some things that they share with me. So I do know, but I think for me, I think when you're dealing with a person or your man, your husband, or whatever it is to you, I think you tend to think that particular person just don't have no feelings, only because you're dealing with them and just and things are not really going, or they're not responding to you the way that you want them to. So that makes you think like, oh, he don't care about me, or he not understanding what I'm saying, or it don't mean nothing to him. And I think a lot of times it's further from the truth, because you will see some signs or some little things that they'll be trying to tell you. But I think sometimes we just get so caught up in what we're thinking about the situation that we don't understand that, he gets it. He's just not going to respond the way I do. Emotional, whiny, or just got to talk his as to life about it. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to do all the talking. They're more of a problem solver, whereas we just want to talk it to life about it. So yeah.
And it just at the end, just want us to see each other. We see each other.
We see each other.
Right. Okay. So kind of switching gears, not really, but still appreciation week, quote unquote, right? And I'm gonna ask this question. I guess it's kind of hard for y'all to answer, but I guess y'all can respond how y'all do based on what y'all see. Do we feel like men appreciate other men in a sense of like brotherhood and existing together? Do we see that as that? Do we feel like men appreciate other men?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They have a whole boys club. They have these fraternities and things like that. When I tell you, they go real hard for their fraternity brothers, for their Mason brothers. I mean, oh my stars. They will ride harder than they do for their women sometimes. So yes, they do. And I always say they be having a bromance. And so when I say that to some men, they're like, no, I don't know. No, I don't have no. But it's just a way of saying, I get that you really care about your friend in a way where it's healthy, because, they're able to bounce ideas. They're able to tell their friends, their buddies about their heartbreak and things that concern them that they're not willing to let that woman know, but they will get advice from their buddy, or and things like that. So I definitely know of several relationships like that where they are the best of buds. And then also too, guys now, they'll go on cruises together. They don't have to be with a woman. They will go, a group of guys, and go have fun, because they know that where they're going, it's going to be some women, you know what I'm saying? So they don't have to necessarily take their significant other or whatever. They'll just plan a trip and be all guys. So yeah, I think they do appreciate each other and have their own way of bonding too.
Okay.
Which is needed.
I think men appreciate men a lot. I love to see it, especially when I was growing up. Of course, like my dad would have his friends over, like watching the game. I know at one point, my uncle would come over. This when I was really younger, and I thought he was my dad's friend, which he is. But I thought they were friends, and then as we got older, it's like, no, that's my uncle. Because they had such close knit relationship. He's actually my mom's brother, so that's why I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Even when my dad would take my brother to the barbershops and I would go with him, you can see the mirror relationship there growing up. And I actually enjoy seeing it now, especially on TV. You see a bunch of men talking in the barbershop, watching sports, just chit-chatting. Just that little right there just shows me enough, like they appreciate each other. Of course, we do have that few that, I'm questioning, especially looking in the news and stuff. Yeah. But I'm just gonna stay on the positive and say, yeah. And I love to see a group of men just laughing down to the bone. Like I live it. So
Okay.
I appreciate
Okay.
it.
So of course I gotta do positive and negative. So I always do the positive first. I do feel like men appreciate men. I ain't gonna say more than women, but they appreciate them a lot. I feel like if they ain't looking to nobody else, they looking to their brother, friend, that's a male. And I don't know. And when you really think about it, because they sometimes go to the men before they women. So I don't know if it's like a comfort thing. I think it's a comfort thing, and I don't know if it's because we are men, so it's easier to look to a man for stuff. I guess he's supposed to understand. I guess he is supposed to understand it more than a woman would. I guess. I guess.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think in general, men do appreciate men a lot. And that's why I think it's cool to see, especially in our community, that a barbershop being an iconic place for men to meet. There's so many different places if you think of like, okay, yeah, men gonna be there together. They tell you how much they appreciate their time together. And yeah, so I'm gonna say men appreciate men. Not gonna blow us up too bad. So let me go to
I have a
the negative.
question.
Go ahead.
So what's one of the things that you really just appreciate about a man? Like one top
Wow.
thing about having like a guy friend.
I think okay. Yeah, this is a good one. Every guy friend I got, say if I was going through something or if I needed something, I think you could tell your guy friend probably the most embarrassing thing. And I don't think they're gonna tell
Hmm.
nobody. And I think they can relate it to an embarrassing moment in them. I feel like
Yeah.
it's easier to share things with a guy friend only because they understand. Like, I don't even want to. I can't get really too detailed, but certain stuff that like we'll talk about as a joke. It's embarrassing to
Hmm.
tell it to a woman or something, right? But if you tell it to a man, it's kind of like, boy, you crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I did that. It's a comfort thing. Like it's I guess on a level of understanding. So you can tell probably your most embarrassing thing to the right man. Now you tell these dudes out here, they miss it too now. But to the right dude, they're gonna tell you business too. But to the right dude, like your really close, dude friends, the ones you trust and stuff like that. It's something where you can literally tell them the most embarrassing thing they understand. And they kind of will help you prevent it. I feel like they take you in after you tell them that. I don't know. I think it bring them closer to really tell these embarrassing things. So I'm gonna say that one thing. I feel like you can literally tell your closest guy friend probably your really deep secret. I don't see him telling it. I just don't. I don't know. But if you trust him, but yeah, I'm gonna just do that one. I don't want to give too much on those. But
Okay.
before I don't even remember. Oh, okay, yeah, the negative. So like we say, we see the barbershop as a positive place. Like we see the men getting together, they play the men. I told you I really hate to see those dudes and men left out of it. Um, and one thing about men, we are better with being close to who we're familiar with. That bringing people in thing is kind of hard sometimes because I feel like women are better at like if a girl if she's different or she had these different things from us. I feel like y'all could take her in easier than a man. If a dude is different from his norm,
Hmm.
that dude really not gonna mess with him. So I kind of hate to see the dudes that are quote unquote outcasts left out of that stuff because I feel like that brotherhood and stuff keeps us together. It makes us stronger. So for some people to not be allowed in that brotherhood because they are different or like I say, to have outsiders, I don't, especially in our community, I don't get it. I talked about that before. I don't get that. Where in general, you take each other in, help each other out. I feel like it's already hard for us in the world. We should always be, welcome it. I hate to see if you see they see a dude do something that's I don't know weird or anything. They literally can shun them away and not even try to fool with them at all, only because
Yeah.
it's not up to some dude crazy standard, I guess. So that's the negative part. I don't like that. I don't feel like men appreciate each other presence in that way. I feel like in general we should welcome each other in. I feel like why not make the group bigger? You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna get along. Let's just keep the brotherhood going. I don't feel like it should just be exclusive to 5 people when there's so many of us. But
Okay.
yeah, that part is negative. But in general, like you said, men do appreciate men. My last question, which is similar to the one I just asked. Do
Mhm.
we feel like women appreciate women? I go.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about some of my closest friends, and yes, absolutely. I have my daily person that I talk to every day. I mean, so appreciative. And then I have people that, call me on certain things. So I know I feel appreciated too. So absolutely. I think women tend to do that very well. Very
Okay.
well.
Okay.
Yeah, I can agree. Of course, I've had the same friends since junior high, elementary school. And, we talk about that a lot, especially when we're out at dinner, like how much we appreciate each other, that space that we have to open up to each other, still keeping secrets, being able to, what we say, be a ride or die, because we got to go to the grave with some of these secrets. You know what I'm saying? But also too, just again, having that space to open and have those emotions. And I don't know, it's kind of like you feel free when you're talking to another woman, because it's very understanding. I think we again catch a lot of heat where women, they don't like women and we hate each other. Of course you have cases like that, but at the end of the day, I think we're very intuitive. We know who is right, who's not right majority of the time, and we just go with it and we just go with the flow. So I like it. I love my friendship. I love my friends. I love the new people who come in my life, the new women. I love to see a group of women together thriving. I love when another woman has another woman's back. It's just something about it. So yeah, I appreciate it. Women.
Okay.
Let me just say this, because I was thinking about this when I left work today. One of my coworkers, and we talk all the time, Nicole, she watched the show. She just got a new car. And so when I went outside, because we always park by each other, I said, I like your car. And then she texted me back and she was like, thank you. And she was like, girl, I really needed you today. Because we was just talking, just having girl talk or whatever. But it just made me feel so good, because she was like, I really needed you today. And I was just like, oh, Nicole, I was like, that's why we are friends, is what I told her. And because I know I have went into work and she have just, made my day. So yes, we do definitely appreciate old friends, new friends, even people that, sometimes you can have conversation with women in passing, and I appreciate that, because it'll be just that little small moment where you'll have like a sisterhood and an understanding. And I know recently people just been coming up to me just telling me they like stories, literally, y'all. And so yes, because in that moment I feel appreciated, that person feel heard, and it's just wonderful. So yes, I think we all need to do that, because it's awesome. So yes.
Yeah, and I think that we get a lot of validation too. And when I say we, including myself, from men, but I think some of the best validation comes from women. I cannot lie. Like the compliments, everything, I just feel like it's true. I think women see the true beauty most of the time. So, some guys just tell you cute, you cute, you cute. I think it's just sometimes something you're supposed to say. But I think when a woman tells you, you like, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Or like, hey girl, like your skirt, that. So yeah, I think having a lot of validation from women is great.
Yeah, and before I answer the actual question, I meant to say that about the men too. I don't know, let the man lie to you. If a man, I'm telling you, it's for example, if a woman tell you that car nice, he could be like, okay, yeah, she like me, she like that car. Let that man tell you that car nice. That man gonna be able to stop thinking about that car. He ain't finna change that car for some years. All he needed one man to tell him that car nice. I'm telling you, let them lie. Let them lie. They get validation from other men. I'm telling you. Let it be some shoes, anything. He gonna make sure every time he wear those shoes, the outfit gonna be clean with it. He gonna make sure, yeah, these the one right here. It could be just one man. I'm telling you, he ain't even have to say much. He be like, oh yeah, them nice right there. I'm telling you, he gonna think about it all day. Let him lie to you. let them lie to you. No, men get validation from men. I mean, they get validation from men too. It never
Okay.
fails. Oh,
Oh,
I'm telling you. Um, but I about to say, I do think that women appreciate women. And when I think about that, I don't know why it made me think of like girls trip, just because you said it is this bad connotation that women get into it, and they,
mm-hmm.
it's like it overshadows how much women appreciate each other. So it's like always this thing
Mm-hmm.
like women, and it's probably because social media and people always saying, for example, they say if you take a group of girls to Miami, they ain't gonna come back friends, stuff like that. Where they say group of women can't be cool together. It's always a negative thing with it when you see, and it actually some women in this world, girls or whatever, who don't want to be friends with women because of what they've heard,
Yeah.
and I hate that, and I really hate that.
Yep.
So that's what made me think of like the Girls Trip movie. Like I feel like it's like that, and of course that's cinema, but realistically, that's what it is. Like they go on a trip, and you said they're able to bring it back together. I feel like that's how women are in real life. I don't think it's
Mm-hmm.
like every time these women go somewhere, they arguing and they edit. I don't think it's that. And
Mm-hmm.
I do hate the negative connotation of. I really hate that. I hate that. It's so bad. But in general, I do think women appreciate each other. I think they really have each other's back. But yeah.
And and let me just add this, y'all. Shout out to my sorority sisters, because I would say that from the time I stepped into that world of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, it has been so inviting. And I have some amazing sisters that support me in everything that I do and the bond. And let me just say this, y'all, I have literally been walking through the airport, and if I have on my paraphernalia, they're going to come up to me and just embrace me. I have actually met several people that way where we're friends today, just because we're in the same organization, and it's just like we bond. And then not even, and just to make it further than that, you can just be another D9, sorority that have came up, and we'll see each other, we'll greet each other, and because we're Greek, and just form a friendship as well. So shout out to all the organizations that provide sisterhood like that too, because sometimes people don't have family, and that's like the only family that they have sometimes. And so I take those relationships serious too. So yeah, it's a matter. I just want to put that
Yeah.
in there.
The purpose of it. I don't know. I think we always just need to tell the purpose of it. I think the purpose of this topic would be for men and women to literally see each other. I don't think
Mhm.
it's like a time where we can't sit down and understand what the other's going through. A man is never gonna be able to be pregnant. This woman is not gonna be this protector. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna swap. So why not sit down and understand that we both got these two different roles, and that we kind of got to work together for it to work. Like we both
Mhm.
on this earth for a reason. Let's kind of make it work. Let's not judge each other off us being different.
Mhm.
So that's one part, and another part is men embrace other men. Like let's come together. I don't think a brotherhood has a limit. I don't understand it. Especially and women too. Even though I says about the negative, it may be some women that do get into it. I mean, just I feel like it's easy to kind of like just find you some women. It's groups out, it's
Mhm.
groups of women that take you in. I feel like just don't limit yourself to not be a part of it. I'm sorry. But yeah. And it's funny you said something about the sorority, because that's actually what my last remark's gonna be. So I
Oh.
think in a minute, I think in many ways, and especially on social media, I know a lot of people, and I'm one of them. Sometimes you
Mhm.
don't understand the sorority fraternity thing. Sometimes, like as serious as it gets. So on the level of like, let's beat people up because they got our stuff on. Let's kind of leave that stuff away and kind of think about the brotherhood and sisterhood that it has. So in our community, so I think it's important for our community for us to be in groups and to stay together, because like I say, it's already hard for us. So any type
Mhm.
of unity that we can get, I feel like we should appreciate. So I think for HBCUs especially, like kind of appreciate them fraternities and sororities that's there. You don't have to join them to kind of appreciate them. Just
Right.
see that this is kind of like a joining of people. Realize that it might be one person, like you say, they could be walking on campus by themselves. By the end of that year, they got 10 friends. They could have been lonely, now they don't. Like, because I feel like they embrace each other regardless. So I do think those sororities and fraternities should be appreciated just a little more because in our community, I don't know why we are so scared of unity, but we kind of need that more than anything else. So that I did want to say that. So yeah, appreciate the brotherhood and sisterhood that's out there. Let's just keep that going in many other ways. But yeah.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate you saying that. You know, I really do because you know, these organizations, y'all, they go out and they do community service. They do scholarships. I know in my chapter, they do, you know, last month was mental health and they were doing things for mental health. So I know in my sorority, we really, you know, try to go out there and really help the community. And sometimes it'd be a difference of helping young women, you know, kind of discover themselves when they, you know, kind of join. And don't get me wrong, you see some of the negative things that they say about, you know, the organizations and things that go on and all of the partying and this and that and the third. But there's so much good. So thank you so much for just even bringing that up, Keontae. You know, and saying that. So that's my closing remarks.
I
So
didn't
Miss-
have one, but since we brought up sisterhood, I think this is my time just to appreciate my sister. You know, my sister guides me in a way that I need, and I can appreciate that. I think, you know, it's times where we do make jokes if, you know, someone's doing something a certain way and she'll be like, oh, she needs a big sister. I was like, yeah. And you can tell a difference when someone doesn't have a sister, when you do have a sister. So just right now, sister, I appreciate you. I love you. Okay. I know you watch it. I love you. Okay. And I appreciate you. So that's my closing remark.
You made me feel bad. I ain't even saying about
No,
my
you
brother.
know, my sister literally is my first friend. Well, my first girlfriend in the sense,
Yeah.
you know, of course, my
Yeah.
brother is my first friend because we was in the womb together, but first
But yeah.
girlfriend is my sister. She's top of the line, honey.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah. You made me want. I'm not gonna say about my brothers. Forget them. Okay, so thank you for watching. Thank you for watching episode 21. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you for, and especially if you are a continuous watcher, thank you for staying tuned. Keep it going. So see y'all next time.